victory. Hi-ho, down they go, there's no such word as can. They'll ride me down to hell and back for U.S. Simpson Grant. Thank you.
Okay, all the way in front, you can sit on the floor if you like.
Together this Civil War Christmas play that explores themes of humanity, unity, and the spirit of Christmas in the midst of conflict.
In presenting these letters, which are both stylized and true primary source letters, including some from those who served from Kenosha, we invite you to reflect on the power of kindness and hope during the darkest times in history.
On a cold winter's night, beneath a sky heavy with the weight of war, we find ourselves in a land where the echoes of cannon fire and the cries of soldiers on both sides have drowned out the songs of peace. It is Christmas, a time when the world traditionally gathers to celebrate the spirit of love, hope, and family. Yet for many, Christmas during the Civil War is different.
During these years, families are divided, lives are shattered, and soldiers fight not only for their cause, but for the hope that one day peace will return. And yet, in the midst of this turmoil, something beautiful and unexpected happens. In the heart of war-torn America, a moment of kindness, a shared prayer, a single act of humanity shines through the darkness of a fractured nation.
Today we will witness a story of courage and compassion. A story that reminds us that even in the harshness of times, the Christmas spirit can bring us together. Through the eyes of soldiers and civilians alike, we will see how, for just one brief moment, the divisions of war fade away and the world comes together to embrace a universal message of peace. As you listen and watch, remember, sometimes the greatest victories are not won on battlefields, but in the quiet moments when hearts choose to lay down their swords.
From a Union soldier, December 25th, 1863, a camp near Chattanooga, Tennessee.
My dearest Sarah, I hope this letter reaches you in good health, and this holiday season brings a measure of peace to your heart. It is Christmas Day here in camp, although it hardly feels like a holiday at all. Sounds of war are far louder than any songs of joy. There's no crackling fire or warmth of home to comfort me. Instead, we are huddled together in the cold, trying to make the best of it. There's a strange quiet today, as if the enemy is taking a moment to rest, just as we are. A few of the men managed to find a scrap of turkey. Another shared a bit of dried fruit that he kept hidden. We had a small gathering where we sang a few hymns. I thought of you and how you must be celebrating with the children back in Ohio. How I wish I could be there with you. The war weighs heavily on me, my love. Every day we march, we fight, we lose. But then I think of you and the strength you've always shown. I draw courage from the thought of returning home to you someday when this awful struggle is over. I pray for the day when I can hold you again, when the sounds of battle are replaced with the simple joys of home. Until then, know that you are in my thoughts, in my heart. Merry Christmas, my dear Sarah. I love you forever, John.
From a Confederate soldier, December 25th, 1862, from a camp in Virginia.
My sweet Anna, as I sit in this cold and muddy camp on Christmas morning, I find myself longing for the warmth of our home, the smell of your cooking, the sound of the children playing. It's hard to believe that it is Christmas at all. For here we are surrounded by nothing but hardship and the ever-present fear of battle. The men in my company are trying to make the best of it. One fellow found a scrap of ham. Another managed to catch a rabbit. And we had a small fire to cook what little we could. It's not much, but it's something to remind us of the days when life was simpler and our homes weren't so far away. I can only imagine how you and the little ones are spending the day. I hope you find comfort in the knowledge that I'm thinking of you constantly, praying for your safety and for the day when this war will be over and I can return to your side. Merry Christmas, my dear Santa. I love you more than words can say. Yours forever, William.
From a Union soldier, December 25th, 1864, in a hospital near Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Dearest Mother, it's hard to believe that it is Christmas. The hospital is full of men suffering from wounds, illness, and the bitterness of this long conflict. We are not in a place of celebration or joy, but rather in the quiet of the wounded, where even the holiday seems to fade away. I wanted to write to you today to remind you that I am still here, still thinking of you and home. The doctors say I will recover, though my leg will never be the same. I'm doing as well as I can, trying to keep my spirits up. Some of the men are worse off. The sound of their cries fills the air. I try to comfort them as best I can. We talk of our homes, of better days. It's a small thing, but it brings some relief to the suffering. The thought of you, of home, is the only thing keeping me going. I think of the Christmases we had before the war. The family gathered around the table, the smell of your pies filling the house, and your laughter as you told us stories. How I long for those days, Mother. How I long for peace. Please take care of yourself. Give my love to everyone at home, and know that I am always thinking of you. With love, your son, Charles.
These letters reflect the deep longing, hardship, and hope of soldiers during the Civil War, especially around Christmas when they were separated from loved ones. Christmas, a time of peace and joy for many, was experienced very differently by these soldiers who held on to memories of home while enduring the realities of war.
For many women, Christmas was a time of emotional anguish due to the absence of husbands, brothers, and sons who were fighting on the front lines. Women on both the Union and Confederate sides often spent the holiday season worrying about the safety and well-being of their loved ones. The uncertainty of war made Christmas a bittersweet occasion.
A Soldier's Wife, December 25th, 1863, near Alexandria, Virginia.
Dearest John, it is Christmas Day, and I sit here by the fireplace. The warmth of the fires does little to ease the cold that has settled in my heart since you left. The house feels so empty without you, and our little ones. When you'll be home, how do I explain to them that their father is far away, caught up in a war that no one seems to understand? The other women in town are the same sorrowful state. They too hold on to the hope that their husbands will return, though none of us know when or if that will happen. Mary and William have both made you Christmas cards, which I will send you with this letter. They've been so brave, but I can see the worry in their eyes. They miss you terribly. In the stillness of the night, I hold on to the thought that you are somewhere under the same stars, thinking of us too. I pray for your safety, for peace, and for a world where our family can be whole again. Forever yours, Sarah.
December 24th, 1863, from Front Royal, Virginia.
Tonight, got the children washed and put to bed, and after they went to sleep, filled the stockings and boiled some molasses for Taffy. Father attempted to attend to the boiling, but after waiting till 10 o'clock, gave it up in despair, and left Grandma, Ma, and me alone in our glory. Did not get through till after 12 o'clock. Poor children, I contrast their limited means of enjoyment now with our former happy life, and it makes me sad. Ah, dear, tomorrow will be a lonely, dreary day for me, with none of the dear ones we were expecting. Not even Nellie and Laura. There are only 5 pairs of stocking over the fireplace tonight, and there are 5 of our house circle absent. 5 hearts, no doubt, turning longingly this way. God bless them. One of the very loneliest nights I ever saw.
Then from Sarah Espy of Cherokee, Alabama, who wrote, in 1862.
Christmas Day. But there is no excitement among the people. I've not heard a gun fired. How unlike the Christmas times of my youth, when there was almost a constant roar of artillery. But the scarcity of powder will, in some measure, account for it. John and Sis came up. Vivian and Virgil are both better. The young folks went to a quilting party at Mr. Hayes. Virginia took the baby home with her as I'm not very well today. Knitting a shawl.
Another letter from a Confederate wife, 1863.
My dearest husband, it seems a very long time since I hear from you. Annie and Minnie hung up their stockings before going to bed, and I've just filled them with apples, peanuts, some carrots, and some cakes. You never saw children more delighted than Emmy and Minnie with at finding their stockings full on Christmas morning. Emmy was rather expecting a China doll, but I told her the Yankees would not let Santa Claus get such things nowadays. I asked Minnie why she was so glad with soot, and she said she had been looking up the chimney to see if Santa Claus was up there now. I can't help thinking of your cold rain and can hardly enjoy a fire when I think that you are perhaps suffering with cold.
And siblings were no less sorrowful in their letters. A southern farmer from Charleston, South Carolina wrote December 25th, 1864.
Dear brother, Merry Christmas to you. So I dare say there's little cheer left in the world these days. The town is quieter than usual. Many of the men are away, and those of us left behind are just trying to get by. We've had a little to celebrate this year and even less to look forward to. The Yankees have been closer than ever, and we hear that they're moving through the Carolinas. I don't know what will happen, but I'm keeping the barn well guarded, though I fear it may not be enough. The farm struggles on with fewer hands to help, and the crops haven't been kind this season. I had hoped for a good harvest, but with the war taking up most of the men, it's been hard to get by. Ma is as strong as she's ever been, but I see the lines of worry deepening in her face each day. She says she is praying for peace, but I wonder if peace will ever return. If I could, I would send you a gift, but the little I have must be kept for our own survival. I pray this war ends soon so that we might rebuild and return to some semblance of a normal life. Until then, my dear brother, I hold on to the hope that Christmas will find us in a better place next year. Stay safe and know you are in my thoughts and prayers this Christmas. With love, Eli. After the furious battles of summer and autumn, the roads would turn muddy, the winter colder, and the leadership on both sides knew that they would be getting ready for winter camp.
Now, winter camp was a period of rest and reflection. The armies could not move, so camp provided a time to write letters home and allowed soldiers to reflect on their own upcoming Christmas celebration and think about their family and hope that they were happy and having as good a Christmas as possible.
Letter writing became a way to reconcile their differences with people of the military life and fond memories of their times back home.
Guard tent, 2nd Massachusetts, Camp Hicks near Frederick, Maryland, 3:30 a.m., December 25th, 1861.
Dearest Mother, it's Christmas morning, and I hope it will be a happy and merry one for you and all. Although it looks so stormy for our poor country, one can hardly be in a merry humor. My Christmas Eve has been very much like other Eves during the last 6 months. On the whole, I passed quite a pleasant night. Although what our men call the forepart of it was principally occupied in taking care of 2 drunken men, one of them with a broken pate, and in tying a soldier to a tree, the sober one. After this was over, I did a good deal of reading, perhaps towards 1 o'clock a.m., had some toast and hot coffee. Having previously invited my sergeant to take a nap so that I might not be troubled by hungry eyes, it made me feel mean, for there wasn't enough to give any away. The drummer, who with the sergeant of the guard for some reason, which I never discovered, sits and sleeps in an officer's tent, kept groaning in his sleep. I couldn't help imagining his groan always came in just as I took a bite of toast or a large gulp of coffee. This diminished my enjoyment, and when he suddenly said, "Martha, there isn't any breakfast," I was certain my proceedings were influencing his dreams. It began to snow about midnight. I suppose no one ever had a better chance of seeing Santa Claus. But as I had my stockings on, you probably thought it not worth the while to come down to the guard tent. And I don't see any of the guard stockings pinned up side their tents. And indeed, it is contrary to Army regulations for them to divest themselves of any part of their clothing during the 24 hours they are on guard duty. Merry Christmas. Love to all, dear Mother. Your loving son, Robert G. Shaw.
Corporal J.C. Williams, Company B, 14th Vermont Infantry, wrote this comment on Christmas Day, 1862.
This is Christmas, and my mind wanders back to home made lonesome by my absence, while far away from the peace and quietude of civil life, to undergo the hardships of the camp. It may be the battlefield. I think of the many lives that are endangered, and hope that the time will soon come when peace, with its innumerable blessings, shall once more restore our country to happiness and prosperity.
Lieutenant Colonel Frederick Cavada, captured at Gettysburg and writing about Christmas 1863 in Libby Prison, Richmond, said,
The north wind comes reeling in, fitful gushes through the iron 4 bars, and jingles a sleigh bell in the prisoner's ear, and puffs his pale face with a breath suggestively odorous of eggnog. Christmas Day, a day which was made for smiles, not sighs, for laughter, not tears, for the hearth, not prison.
In a letter to his sister, Anna Simpson, Tally Simpson wrote on December 25th, 1862.
My dear sister, this is Christmas Day. The sun shines feeble through a thin cloud. The air is mild and pleasant. The gentle breeze is making music through the leaves of the lofty pines that stand near the river. All is quiet and still, and that very stillness recalls some sad and painful thoughts. The day 1 year ago, how many thousand families, gay and joyous, celebrating Merry Christmas, drinking health to absent members of their family, and sending upon the wings of love and affection long, deep, and sincere wishes for their safe return to the loving ones at home. But today are clad in the deepest mourning, memory to some lost and loved member of their circle. When will this war end? Will another Christmas roll around and find us all wintering in camp? Oh, that peace may soon be restored to our young and dearly beloved country, and that we may all meet again in happiness.
Thomas W. Conley of the 70th Ohio was in camp in northern Mississippi and received a speech from the brigadier commander as his Christmas present.
Our brigade headquarters was handsomely decorated with flags. The brigade was massed into solid column in front of the brigade headquarters when Colonel J.R. Cockrell, our brigade commander, delivered the boys a nice Christmas speech in connection to many good things said upon that occasion. The colonel got off the following. With the bold 70th Ohio, the fearless 90th Illinois, the 53rd Ohio, the never-flinching Belgian battery, and the daring Chicago battery, we would follow the rebels to the gates of hell and there give them battle. That was a happy Christmas to all of us, and we enjoyed it well.
The 104th Ohio was stationed at the works in Richmond, Kentucky, and passed a rather pleasant Christmas due to a recent shipment of packages from home.
We made quite a jolly Christmas of it all together. Nearly all the boys had received good things from home, and several messes were able to fill up with something better than hardtack and bacon. Nearly all had received warm woolen underclothing, mittens, socks, etc. from the loved ones at home. So at the end of our first 3 months of service, we are quite comfortable for soldiers, and although there have been considerable sickness in the regiment, there have been no deaths.
As the war dragged on, deprivation replaced bounteous repast and familiar faces were missing from the family dinner table. Soldiers used to bringing in the tree and caroling in church were instead scavenging for firewood and singing drinking songs around the campfire. And so the holiday celebration most associated with family and home was a contradiction. It was joyful, sad, religious, boisterous, and a subdued event.
December 26th, 1862, Thomas R. Stearns of the 29th Wisconsin excerpt from a letter to his wife.
Such a Christmas I have never spent before. No sleigh ride, no skating, no snow, nor no nothing. The day was something like April, considerably cloudy. About 2 o'clock, our captain came to our tent, awoke us out of a sound sleep, and told us to strap on our accoutrements and be ready at a minute's calling. So we dressed ourselves, put on our cartridge boxes and belts, and lay down with our guns by our side. We spoke about having a dinner for Christmas, but our general kicked that all over by giving us marching orders.
William T. Shepard was a Kenosha High School lad who signed up with Colonel Taylor's battery in 1861 and spent 3 Christmases with the Union. This from Christmas 1863.
We are all froze up this morning, and our camp stove, though quite small, is an attractive part of our barracks furniture. Your box, that started on Monday morning, will reach the point on Wednesday or Christmas. It will serve to lighten the seeming sorrows of a Christmas away from home. In return for your kindness, I can only at present say, Merry Christmas. We Kenosha boys like to see the K-Telegraph very much. We have not had one for a month or more. Remember me to all the friends and much love, and a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Affectionately, your son Willie.
And this from December 24th, 1862, out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Christmas Eve again, and not a very merry one for me. I'm alone in the office, all the folks having gone to the city. I bought a turkey, chicken roast, cranberries, etc., but I don't feel the least interested in our dinner. It must be that I am homesick. I certainly feel quite lonesome. Don't feel like Christmas at all. No friends, no one to talk to, no one to associate with, and nothing to remind one of a Merry Christmas. There are a few toys in the shop windows and more candy, and the street boys are popping firecrackers with the crowded market is all that reminds me of the holiday.
Now, for much of the war, it seemed that despite the great bloodshed, the relative position of the Union and the Confederacy had not changed a great deal. Union armies had been pressing forward in both the Western Theater and the Eastern Theater. The diminished Confederate armies were still somehow holding on.
By late 1864, the successes of the Federal Army were becoming very apparent. A confident General William Tecumseh Sherman was able to send the telegram to Abraham Lincoln.
Savannah, Georgia, December 22nd, 1864. Fort Monroe at 6:45 p.m.
His Excellency, President Lincoln, I beg to present you as a Christmas gift the city of Savannah with 150 heavy guns and plenty of ammunition, and also about 25,000 bales of cotton. W.T. Sherman, Major General.
December 25th, 1865, from a camp near Washington, D.C.
Dear mother, father, and family, it is Christmas Day, and I find myself reflecting on all the hardships and sacrifices we've endured these past years. The war is finally over, and though we've all prayed at this peace, it feels strange. There's no more fighting, no more marching to distant lands, no more fear of battle on the horizon. The silence in the camp is unlike any I've ever known, strangely peaceful, yet laced with sadness that only time can explain. We lost so much, didn't we? Not just in lives, but in our spirits, in our hearts. How many friends and comrades will never see the new year? How many mothers will never again hold their sons? Yet, I have held on to hope that we, as a nation, can rebuild. I believe, Mother, Father, that we will heal, though it will take time. The scars are deep, but I trust the strength of our people to move forward. Tonight, the men are singing hymns and remembering their family. Some speak of returning home as soon as the orders are given. For me, I can only hope to be with you all soon. I cannot wait to feel the comfort of our home, to smell the bread baking in the oven, to hear the laughter of my brothers and sisters. I know the future will be different, but I'm determined to make it better. I dream of a time when all this bloodshed is a memory and our country is whole again. Christmas brings with it the promises of hope and renewal, and it's hard to see it sometimes. I have faith that brighter days are ahead for all of us. I wish I could be there with you, to celebrate the warmth of family, to share in the simple joy of being together. But for now, I send you all my love. May God bless each of you, and may He guide us to a new year full of peace, prosperity, and healing. Your loving son, James.
As the Civil War draws to a close, the curtain falls on a time of great turmoil and loss, yet also on moments of hope, reconciliation, and healing. The characters who have endured so much, soldiers, families, and civilians alike, reflect on the sacrifices made and the struggles endured. Through the spirit of Christmas, they find a glimmer of peace, and the message of unity and forgiveness rings louder than the drums of war.
In the midst of sorrow, we are reminded that even in the darkest of times, love, compassion, and the hope of a brighter future can bring people together. The echoes of the past may never fade, but the power of kindness and the shared desire for peace have the ability to heal wounds and restore humanity.
As we conclude, we hope you are left with a sense of both reflection and renewal, knowing that while the scars of the Civil War may remain, the lessons learned can guide future generations toward understanding, forgiveness, and lasting peace. Merry Christmas, and may the spirit of the seasons touch each of us with light.
Involved. We have 6 actors over here from RG Productions. John McLaughlin.
Merry Christmas.
Jan Panowski. Dan Sticka. Jody Diderick. Jane Myers. And Lori Russ. And the ever popular sound effects, Candy Helson. Lauren Hunter on the organ. Rick Haggerty, sound engineer. I need him.
And our brave soldiers from Chicago Light Artillery Battery A. We have Don Sherman, we have Bill Pomeroy, and we have Stuart. Merry Christmas to you all. And I'm Bill Pavlicek.
Check out the Chicago Light Artillery Battery A on Facebook, just to stay in touch with what they're doing from time to time. They're really awesome. We're happy to collaborate with you guys. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.
Cavalry, hi-ho, down they go, there's no such word as can. They'll ride me down to for U.S. Simpson Grant.